I, 37 male, divorced my wife, 35 female, after she got cancer and cheated. Original post. My ex-wife and I were married for 10 years when she got cancer at 33, stage 1 breast cancer. She had a hard time, but with surgery she got through it. I took time off work to look after her and was with her the entire time as we had moved away from our family. I noticed that she changed a lot after, which is expected after going through something so major. She wanted more from her life than just a 9-to-5 job, so ended up quitting to travel for a bit and just doing whatever she wanted. At first, I went with her because I wanted her to be happy, and this reminded me of her younger self. But that kind of lifestyle blew through our savings. So I went back to work and basically funded her new lifestyle. While it was exhausting, I didn't care that much because I loved her. And seeing her so happy and full of life after everything she went through was good enough for me. However, one day I heard her talking to her friend over the phone about not feeling satisfied with just me, and that she wanted to sleep with other people. I was shocked and didn't know what to do, especially since our intimate life had been much more active during that time. So hearing her say that was horrible. That evening she brought it up and said she wanted to be in an open marriage. By that point, I had enough time to think and realized there was no way I was okay with that. She explained that I was her first boyfriend and that she had never been with anyone before me. We met in high school, so she wanted to try being with other people. I told her straight that I was not okay with that. We argued for a while, but she eventually said she wouldn't do anything and that she was sorry. Fast forward, she lied, and I caught her a couple weeks later. So we divorced. It was hard, and I was completely broken during the whole thing, and it took me a long time to heal. I couldn't believe that after everything, she could do that to us and throw away 10 years of marriage. It's been nearly 2 years after the divorce now, and yesterday she contacted me through a friend asking to meet up. I was reluctant, but agreed. Seeing her again today brought back so many feelings. We small talked for a bit, then she asked me if I was seeing anyone. I said I wasn't, and then she started saying that divorcing me was the biggest regret of her life. After we separated, she went through a hard time and tried to fill my void by seeing multiple other people, but nothing worked. She then dropped a bomb that she wants to get back together with me. She had actually been asking around about me before this, and when she found out that I hadn't been with anyone since our divorce, she assumed I felt the same way. I left feeling dumbfounded and saying I needed time to think. I genuinely don't know what to do, because there's a part of me that wants to believe she did all that because of everything she went through. But at the same time, I don't think that's an excuse. Should I give her a chance to explain before I make a decision? Because I feel like I walked out on her before she could. Now for the top advice before reading the update. Don't put yourself through that, man. She made her decision a long time ago. What happens the next time she gets bored? Thank you for saying that. I went through the exact same thing. My ex-husband left me for another woman. It wasn't 6 months later that he came to me wanting to come back. My heart said yes, but my mind said no. I could not go through that pain again, as I had physical pain in my heart when it happened. The trust was broken, and I couldn't get it back. Yeah, she showed her true colors. Completely agree, and I hope she read all these responses. And if you are ex-wife of OP, just a question. Truly, how many guys did it take for you to realize what you did and why you want OP back? More than 5, 10, 15, 20, 100, 200, 1,000? OP, if you were even going to think about it, ask her how many, as that might change your mind anyways. I normally did not care about a number, nor do I ask, but in this case, I do think it matters. In addition, ex-wife of OP, and if your friends who were complicit and encouraged your behavior should be removed from your life. So let me get this straight. You and her have been together since you were teenagers. Y'all built a life together. You literally nursed her through the toughest time of her life. She then gets the notion that she hasn't gotten enough out of life? But the enough was other men? So she asked to open the marriage, which most likely was in bad faith because he caught her cheating not long after. So who knows how long she was doing it? Y'all divorce and she proceeds to screw whoever her heart desires, just to realize that none of them cared about her nowhere near the way you did. So now she wants you to come back after she has had her fill in the streets and manipulate her way back into your life. And you're asking if you should hear her side of things? Well, ask yourself this. Would she be able to say anything that would undo what she has done to you? Would she be able to say anything that would make you be able to trust and believe in her again? Is there any explanation she could offer that would keep you from being insecure the next time she begins to act differently? If not, then I would save myself the anguish and go about your life and work towards happiness. Good luck, OP. You forgot the part where he worked to fund her world travel and her adventures without him because one of them had to work to fund her. Imagine how many dudes she was banging while traveling on his dime. What a scumbag. She was just trying to fill the void. Now for the update. I really didn't expect this many people to reply. To cut things short, she found out. I forgot she was an active user of this sub, and the events lined up enough for her to know it was me. I woke up to a message from her this morning. She said that she saw and was so sorry. After seeing what I wrote, she got to see my side of things. But the thing is, she really didn't. What I put out here is a fraction of what I felt and went through, so she'll never really know. She also said that cancer is a life-changing thing, and the fact that I stuck with her would be something she was eternally grateful for. The whole thing terrified her, and it changed her as a person. And one day when she woke up next to some dude and looked over and realized she had become a completely different person, one that she didn't recognize, she realized what she had done and how badly she messed up. At first, she didn't want to contact me because she knew that would be selfish. But then, she didn't want to live with regret by never trying, in case there was ever a chance I would forgive her. She's willing to wait forever if it means I could forgive her. She also asked why I hadn't been with anyone since her, and a lot of you mentioned the same. To be honest, I didn't actively try with other people because I didn't want to bring all this baggage into a new relationship, especially not before I had tried to fix my issues. And I think this is a good closure for me. After seeing a lot of your replies, I know there isn't really a chance for me to forget what she did. But I do want to forgive her as a way to move on, and I messaged her all this before replying here. Next story. My 31 male, soon-to-be ex-wife 28 female wants to talk about us. But I feel like it's too late now. I 31 male am divorcing my future ex 28 female. It has been a very long and painful process. We've been together for 9 years, married for 7, and the last 3 we've been separated. During our marriage, she never really treated me like I was her husband. Her parents and family always came before me. No matter what I would say or do, she wouldn't change. A few examples are, when I had broken my leg/foot, she yelled at me for days to clean out the garage until I did, even though I physically couldn't walk on my leg. Or making me walk to get my car out of the shop because she couldn't wait 15 minutes to go to her mom's house. If she didn't take me, I wasn't able to get in my car. Those are just 2 of many similar situations. For years, I begged her to start treating me like her partner, and not just an accessory. I was always open with how things affected me, and I would put aside time to talk to her about things. I'm not one to hold things in and let them build up, so I told her that if the behavior continues, I would file for divorce. The worst part is being with someone that makes you feel alone, and I just can't handle that type of relationship. She swears she's worked on it, but that's only after 3 years of being separated, and we're coming up on a final hearing. I feel bad, because due to her religion she can't be remarried, and I just can't put my mental health at risk again. What would you guys do in this situation? I would tell her that it's too little too late, and that you no longer want her in your life in any capacity. Any future problems she has are, to be honest, not your problem at all. They are the result of her unwillingness to be a decent partner. Yep, OP was in an abusive relationship and deserves better. OP, if you see this, be sure to set boundaries from the start and don't tolerate any crossing of lines. Some people get way too comfortable walking on others without any consideration. Do you know that she's asking to reconcile? Is that something she's brought up in the recent past? That seems very unlikely 3 years into separation. She was asking for a lot of money and she didn't end up getting anything really. I told her if she truly wanted to reconcile, she could have done that during the divorce agreement. Instead, she was trying to squeeze as much money out of me as she could. I feel like that's the only reason she's trying to. Up until this point, I was leaning towards maybe her viewpoint had changed and circumstances will force her to grow up. And then this. Move on. As a remarried man to a different woman, I know there's a large stigma to have to work through, but your soon-to-be ex-wife isn't worth the investment on your part any longer. She's remorseful now not because she accepts her wrongdoing, but because she needs a punching bag again. She's probably realized that she's not going to find someone else who will take her abuse, and that's exactly what she did to you. So she wants to drag you back into her trap. You did well to leave. Keep going and don't look back. P.S. It says a lot about her character that her religion doesn't approve of divorce, but is seemingly okay with spousal abuse. Last story. My husband, 42 male, told me 36 female he wasn't ever attracted to me, but married me because he would have felt bad ending it. We've been together for 6 years and married for 4. No kids. For context, I'd be described as conventionally attractive and I'd take care of myself. I'm fit, athletic, well-educated, and have a fun personality. I think it's important to mention that, since there's no glaring issue for him to feel this way. My husband is successful, charming, and the type of person who gets along with everyone. Shortly after we married, we relocated from Canada to Europe for his work. I supported this and gave up a job I liked. That was essentially my career, my friends, and a city I felt really home in. Now I'm in a foreign country where I only speak the local language at a low level, trying to build my own business and have very little of a support system. I'm too embarrassed to tell my friends about this whole situation. This is where it gets interesting. On multiple occasions, he's apologized for our lack of romantic life. There isn't one to speak of, and rarely has been since we've been together. He's told me it's not normal for him, and it was different with other women in the past. He's used to being with really beautiful women. He's also said recently that he was never attracted to me in that way, but didn't want to break up with me when we first started dating. I told him he should have ended it then, because now I live a lie and gave up everything to support him. But he just suggested we have an open relationship if I wanted to meet other men, and he would even pay for a male escort. He used an old iPhone of mine a few years ago and never logged out of his iCloud. I see that he still screenshots pictures of his ex from IG. He also believes that no one is really happy in their marriage, and that romantic love is not something that lasts long term. I don't know what to do. I had to give up my job to support his career, but I never thought it would come to this. I can't support myself with my new job yet, and I don't come from a wealthy family, while he's very successful financially. My family and friends love him and think he's the perfect guy. From the outside, we're the perfect couple, but the reality is a disaster that I battle every day. My self-esteem and confidence have taken a nosedive. I could just ignore everything and live a comfortable life, but I would be living a lie. And he thinks we should stay together because we get along in every other way. I know no relationship is perfect, but this is so far beyond normal that I'm not sure how to deal with it. I've suggested therapy, but he says that doesn't work. He wants to stay together and basically stay as partners. So, anyone been through this or have advice? Take some of the money's offering for you to hire escorts and buy a one-way ticket home. Re-establish your career and make a life for yourself. Why would you want to stay with somebody who regrets marrying you? You deserve better. This is one thing that really bothers me. Him offering that is like saying she can't have someone if she's not paying. That's sick. For me, he is trying to break her confidence so she doesn't leave, and he can have the face of the perfect marriage without having to actually be in a relationship. There is no emotional support. He's being cruel. For me, he is trying to break her confidence. Yes, his comments sound like negging, or like the bashes people with severe narcissistic trait do. His statements likely aren't even true, but a tactic to bring her down. She's in a foreign country, somewhat isolated, without funds or a career, and now he attacks her self-esteem. OP, run if you can. If you are in Germany and feel comfortable, please feel free to contact me, and I'll take a look with you what your options here may be. Please keep in mind that those tactics, isolation, financial independence, attacking your self-esteem can be a warning sign for domestic abuse. These things do not necessarily lead to physical harm, but no physical harm without those things. Don't go looking for a way to stay with them, especially no therapy. Therapy with people that hit so low verbally will only lead to them having more fodder to attack your self-esteem, or even Darvo in therapy speak. Please find a will to leave. A way will show up then. If you stay, you'll be giving up on yourself. You'd be giving up the possibility of ever being with anyone who thinks you're beautiful. You'd be giving up on finding someone who feels lucky to have you. Don't settle for a settler. I agree with this. Opie, you're 36, so we are close in age, and it's never too late to start over again. Your whole marriage is a lie, and these years have been wasted. But don't deny yourself the chance of a better future. Please don't give up on yourself, Opie. I was going to add too, that 36 is not too old at all to start over. Divorced my first husband at 35 and just married the love of my life at 45. I'm 46 and couldn't be happier. Future you will appreciate you ending things now. Me too. I was 40 when I left my first husband after 16 years. Long story, but I was miserable because of how he treated me. We had 2 little kids. I was married and never felt so alone. I met my soulmates and remarried at 43. I'm 48 now, and life is grand. It was hard in the beginning financially and emotionally, but it was so worth it. Update. I'm 28 female, lost weight, now I want to divorce my husband, 29 male. Original post. We've been married for 5 years and together for 7 years. We also have a 3-year-old kid. After having the baby, I struggled a lot with losing the baby weight and adjusting to being a parent. I also had a baby blues at first, which was tough. I wasn't really focused on my appearance, and instead I was trying to figure out our new routine and way of life. But then, my husband started making these little comments about my body and how I should start working out and wearing makeup again. It made me feel really awful, and I worried that he might start looking elsewhere because we weren't being intimate anymore. He even suggested hiring a nanny so I could have more time for myself, but I wanted to be there for our baby full-time, so I turned down the offer. That made him angry, and he started acting cold towards me. Months went by without any hugs, kisses, romance, or any kind of affection. My self-esteem hit rock bottom. Every time I looked in the mirror, all I saw were the flaws that my husband pointed out. By this point, our son was already 2 years old, and I desperately wanted to win my husband back. I thought that if I got in shape again, he would show me love and affection and our marriage would be saved. I craved his attention so much, and it hurt to see how much things has changed. But you can't force someone to be affectionate. I took matters into my own hands and hired some help. With more free time, I started going to the gym, taking swimming classes, which are amazing for your back by the way, getting my hair and lashes done regularly and eating healthier. And guess what? I've lost a ton of weight and I feel amazing. Suddenly, my husband started touching me, kissing me, buying me flowers and treating me like the complete opposite of how he treated me before. You'd think that would make me feel better, but for some reason, it made me feel worse. All I could think about were the hurtful things he said to me when I was at my lowest, and how cold he was towards me. I get that you can't force attraction, but why couldn't he just hug me or give me a kiss on the cheek, even when I was overweight? Why couldn't he love me as a human being and the mother of his child? When my self-esteem came back, I got really angry at myself for putting up with his behavior for so long. A few days ago, I told him I wanted a divorce because I don't think I could move past how badly he treated me. He apologized and promised to change and prove that he can be better. But honestly, I'm not sure if I can trust him again. What if I gain weight again or have to deal with health issues? Will he treat me like garbage again? I've talked to some friends and family about the whole situation, and some say I should give him another chance while others say I should leave him. So I'm turning to Reddit for some advice. Am I justified in being upset over this? Do you think it's possible for my husband to change his behavior for a long term? Or is a divorce the right move here? Now for the top advice before reading the update. Yes, you're justified. I've had huge weight swings in my marriage, and my husband never treated me like crap when I was heavier. Based on what is he going to change? Saying you will is meaningless. Frankly, I wouldn't want to be with someone who treated strangers like that, let alone me. How will you treat your kid if they are overweight? I've been both my lowest weight and my highest weight in my current relationship, and how I look has never had an impact on how my husband treated me. When I was 140 pounds, he told me I was sexy and couldn't keep his hands off me. And when I was 220 pounds, he told me I was sexy and couldn't keep his hands off me. 100% justified. Opie's husband has shown that he cannot, and will not, hold up his end of for better and for worse through sickness and in health. What happens if she gets cancer, loses a limb, or when she inevitably ages and starts sagging? Booed him to the curb. Gosh, I'm so sorry. This is truly awful. I'm a year older than you. I'm almost 30, and I'm telling you that there's so much more out there for you. My daughter is 6 now, and when I left her father, I thought my life was over. He used to complain about everything. How I dressed, the music I listened to, the TV shows I watched. I realized after my daughter was born, I would never want her to deal with the treatment I was accepting for myself. Move on. If you gain weight again, or heaven forbid, get sick in some way, this is not the man you want to be by your side. Those men are out there, and you are so young. You can find someone who will love you with no strings attached. Now for the update. Thanks a lot for all the advice you gave me after my last post. It was really tough to make a decision, especially considering our son. So I sat down with my husband and had a conversation about what happened. He kept saying sorry, but I asked him if he actually understood why his behavior was hurtful. He just kept saying he was being a jerk, but I feel like he didn't really grasp why it was a problem. So I broke it down for him. I told him that saying I still looked pregnant 3 months after giving birth, or calling me a mess because of my dark circles, rolling his eyes when I wanted to show affection, not talking to me for days without any reason, and not wanting to spend time together were all really hurtful. And on top of that, he didn't offer to help so I could take care of my mental health. Instead, he wanted me to go to the gym and get in shape. When I reminded him of all this, he couldn't even look me in the eye and didn't say a word. The silence in the room was so thick you could cut it with a knife. I just don't think he fully understands how badly he treated me. No amount of extra weight can justify that kind of behavior. I wouldn't treat a stranger like that, let alone someone I love. But for the sake of our son, I still offered him couples counseling. And guess what? He refused. He said he was afraid that the therapist and I would team up against him and make things worse. We went round and round in circles, and after almost 3 hours of talking, I finally had enough and told him I wanted a divorce. He tried to convince me that he could prove he can change, but when I asked him how, he just said I had to have faith in him and see it for myself down the line. That's just not good enough for me. I told him I was taking our son to my mom's place for the weekend and that we would discuss everything before finalizing the divorce on Monday. He said okay and we left. But now he won't stop blowing up my phone, begging for a second chance, and telling me how much he loves me and how he made a mistake. It's really disheartening to see how much he changed after we had our son. All I ever wanted from him was love, loyalty, and respect. But he didn't give me any of that in the past few years. I still wanted to give him a chance, but he doesn't want to put in the work to make things better. If it comes to that, I'll be able to raise our son on my own as I'm financially independent and secure. I also have a lot of help, so it'll be okay. I still want him to be a part of our son's life and be the best daddy he can be. But I can't be with someone who doesn't love or respect me. I wanted to thank you again for all your support and the advice you gave me. I thought my husband was the person I would grow old with, but the universe has other plans for me. It will be really hard to let him go, but I'm hoping it's for the better. His refusal to attend counseling proves he is more interested in protecting his ego than mending the relationship. Best of luck. You deserve a partner that can show you respect and affection. I have a feeling he only wants her back, because getting divorced is also a bruise to his ego and how he would look to his peers. And yet, he hasn't even listed a single way he would change. This exactly. After I split up with my ex-husband, he begged for a year to get back together. When I finally asked what would be different if we got back together, he looked puzzled and said, "Well, nothing. But you've got to take me back, because you're my wife." Needless to say, I declined. It's always confusing for me when someone refuses therapy but in the same breath says they don't want to lose you. It just shows they will still always put themselves first. Agreed. After reading that, I was thinking, okay, this is a shot to own up to his mistakes and try to fix things with this relationship. But nope, doesn't seem like he's up for that. It seems like he knows he messed up big time, assuming his wife and therapist would team up against him. It also shows he's not putting in much effort to understand why he messed up and make things right. So the OP going for a divorce was probably the right move. Proud of you for standing up for yourself. It's hard, but so worth it. Last story. Update. My 30 female husband, 34 male, keeps sneaking out to the middle of the night. Original post. As the title says, my husband keeps sneaking out in the middle of the night. For basically as long as I can remember, I've gotten up around 4 a.m. or so to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. That's just how my body is. And lately when I do so, I won't find my husband in bed. In fact, I can't find him anywhere. He does have pretty bad insomnia, and sometimes on really bad nights, I would find him in the living room watching TV or playing a video game. Also, it is not every night. It's maybe every other night that he is sneaking out. I'm trying not to let it bother me, but this has been going on for about a month now, and I'm starting to get really annoyed/worried about where he's going and what he's doing at such weird hours of the night. It happened again the other night, and I stayed up until he decided to come home at 6 a.m. Mind you, I don't know how long he was actually gone, just that he hadn't been there from about 4 a.m. until then. I admit I was pretty cranky and annoyed when he got home, and I asked him where he had been. He told me not to worry about it and let's go back to sleep. I kept pushing, and he said he just goes out for a walk. I wasn't satisfied with that answer, but the conversation kept going back, so he just takes a walk to burn any extra energy or to clear his head when he can't sleep. So I decided to drop it, as I was pretty tired and had to be up in an hour to go to work anyway. Well, it happened again tonight/this morning. I got up to go to the bathroom and I couldn't find my husband anywhere. Again, I was really annoyed, and I stayed up to see when he would get home. It was 5:35, so that's an improvement at least. When he got home, he looked so sleepy and climbed into bed. And without saying a word, I got out and took my pillow and blanket and came to the couch where I am now. I know it's petty to give him the silent treatment, but I'm frustrated, and I just want to be by myself right now. I can hear him snoring, so I guess his walk worked. I'm not sure what to do now. I'm exhausted and I honestly just want to know the truth. Should I confront him? I'm not big in confrontation, but at the same time, I really want to know what's going on. Now for the top advice before reading the update. It's weird that he didn't mention it until you caught him. Everyone is saying you're out of line for being suspicious, probably isn't married. Because the first time me or my husband's insomnia was bad enough, we left the house on foot, in the dark for hours. We would mention something the next morning. Like, wow, crazy, right? But it really helped, so I might keep taking walks. Checking in with your life partner like this isn't controlling, it's for safety. He doesn't need your permission, but if he's outside in the middle of the night, you should know. What if he doesn't come home one morning? You call the cops and report him missing and all you can say is, I don't know. He says he walks for hours at night, but I have no idea where he went/where he could be. I actually am constantly sharing my location in my phone with my husband, my mom, and my best friend for reasons like this. Your husband can do what he wants without permission, but not without giving you a heads up as a courtesy. I honestly think he's probably doing something shady and you should trust your gut. It sounds like he's pretty dismissive when you ask where he's been. Let's be real here. Going for a walk for 2 hours in the middle of the night is not normal. Does he acknowledge that? Does he validate the trauma you have on top of that? Is he working on things he might do to avoid such strange behavior? Nothing in this post suggests to me that you're jumping to conclusions, and I think most people would suspect something is wrong here. I think you should insist on a more thorough discussion with him before anything else. My friend has really bad insomnia and goes for a walk in the middle of the night. It is often the only thing that enables her to sleep. Okay, but if your friend's partner wanted to know where she had been, would she be dismissive of their concern? When she came back, yes. As if she gets straight into bed, she can sometimes go to sleep. But if she is interrupted, she won't get any sleep. OP needs to have a sit-down conversation with him at a different time and see what the case is. Now for the update 9 months later. Hello all, I wanted to provide you with an update. Apologies for taking so long to update. My life has been a whirlwind for the past 8 months, and I honestly haven't been in the best mental state. Also warning, this update touches on topics of depression, drug use, and cheating. So, about 2 months ago, a police car pulled up to my house and 2 police officers knocked on my door. They told me they were there to do a wellness check on my husband because his girlfriend hadn't heard from him in 3 days and was worried about him. They asked me if I was his sister or what my relationship to him was. I told them I was his wife, and beyond that I can't even remember what I said. I was in shock. I just remembered them leaving and me closing the door and crying. He was at work at a time, and when he got home, he could tell I was upset. I mean, it was obvious, because every time I tried to speak, I would just start crying again. Eventually, it got to the point that I guess he knew he had to come clean, and he told me everything. So yeah, I found out he had been cheating on me with an ex-coworker of his. Not only this, but he had been supporting her and her 2 kids, because she couldn't hold down a job and he didn't want them to end up homeless. The reason she couldn't hold down a job is because she was/is into drugs and would go on week-long benders where she just wouldn't show up to work. And he says that about a year ago, she called him out of the blue and cried to him, saying that she was about to lose her apartment because her husband was cheating on her and had basically vanished. Ironic, I know. Leaving her with all the bills that had to be paid, and her 2 kids needed food and new stuff for school. He says that at first, it was just financially supporting her and her kids, until he started doing the drugs with her. And that's when things escalated. He told me he had cut things off with her 3 days before the police showed up, and that's why they were doing a wellness check. So I asked him if that was where he was going when he was sneaking out. He said yes, for the most part. He also said, to be fair, I really would just go on a walk or drive around sometimes. And I know there are going to be questions about how I didn't notice the missing money, so here's my answer. We have separate bank accounts. He pays for his bills and I pay for mine. And our joint bill comes out of my account, and it pays me back whatever the total is for those bills. And well, he never stopped paying me for those bills, and household things that were in his name never got shut off. So I never had a reason to think anything was wrong in that area. I've been so emotionally numb for these past 2 months, and he has been begging me for about 2 months to make a decision about our relationship. As in divorce, because being in limbo is really stressful for him. I honestly just don't want to even put any energy into thinking about the future at all right now. All of my friends and family are telling me to get a divorce. But I don't know, everything had been great up until 8 months ago, and our lives are so intertwined. That feels so stupid to say, but I'm basically paralyzed with numbness. I did, however, make an appointment for couples therapy. So I guess I will see how that goes. He seems up to it. And I just wanted to extend a thank you to all the people that took the time to read this and the last one. I'm so sorry. I hate to add to your pain, but you need to get an STD test now. If he was sleeping with a drug addict, then he could pass something on to you. Please think seriously about seeing a divorce attorney to see about your options. STD test was the first thing I thought of too. Then also divorce this man. Your life is not intertwined enough to stay with someone who would only confess because he got caught. Change your couples therapy to personal therapy and find some self-love and self-respect. If your best friend told you this was happening to them, what would you advise them to do? He's not just sleeping with her, he is also doing drugs. Who knows where the substances come from, or what is laced with, or with whom else they use? If applicable, are they sharing needles? I'm sorry, but there is no salvaging this relationship. Even now he's more worried about himself over what he did to you, OP. I mean, seriously, it's causing him stress? What? Like the past 8+ months of you asking and worrying didn't cause you stress? He's selfish and doesn't really seem to care what you decide. He just wants it done. Personally, I'd end it and get tested ASAP if you haven't already. Also, I freaking laughed with his. To be fair, he did walk sometimes. Oh, okay. Guess I can forgive you since there were a few nights in the last 8+ months you haven't been banging someone else, doing drugs and risking my health and financial stability. Whatever. Also, don't tell him now. Go speak to an attorney. Get your ducks in a row and make a plan. Then let him know you've filed and have him served. You make the first move.